somebody else got caught off of Disney.
Oh,
Um,
mm-mm.
yeah,
Oh,
Gina Carano.
Toronto.
Yeah, I've never seen the Mandal. What is it?
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Oh,
Yeah, I
You
never seen
can
it.
say
So
nothing today.
Me neither though.
Way.
I
wow,
thought I
you
was
chopping up,
Mandalorian.
yeah,
you chopping her
yeah.
name up, the show, everything. You gonna say
Well, I mean,
more
she
color.
gone anyway, so does it really matter? That's not Christian.
Oh man, she's supposed to have a spinoff, right?
She was.
Yeah.
That got canceled. They said she'll never work
She
for
blew it.
Disney.
No
Wow,
chance.
what happened to her? What'd she do?
She had some tweets, some controversial tweets.
Oh, okay. So we canceling people again.
I don't understand.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, the party of tolerance, man, isn't so tolerant, man.
Yo, it's
You
crazy.
know?
They were saying how I think there
This
was
dude
like
Jimmy want all the smoke.
No, they said it was like several Disney producers, directors, actors that were like basically either they were Trump bashing or they were right wing bashing, and like none of them, they never got canceled. They never lost their jobs or anything. So
Yeah, I think one of the producers said that we should throw Trump supporters
and the wood
in
chipper,
wood
right?
chippers. Yeah. Kids.
Wow.
Kids,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, and they had the picture of the wood chipper, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So she said this is one of her posts that was criticized. It says Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views?
Now I don't
So
disagree with
That's tough.
Insensitive.
You can't compare nothing to Nazis like that.
But that's what the left did to everybody who was a Trump supporter, though.
yeah,
Right? He was a Nazi. He's the worst leader in the history of America. You know what I mean? The worst president and all that. Like, you know, it's never Trump over here. You know what I'm saying? Like gang.
Uh-oh.
But like the way that they treated dude, like they was making it like he was worse than Hitler. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah, and you could say that though. That's the thing with that. You could say whatever you wanted about him. You ain't lose your job.
yeah.
It's a part of the narrative, though. I mean, it's the fake news. I think the one good thing that Trump did do is he exposed fake news, and all of these outlets out here that you know what I mean. The fact that what was it? The New York Times got pulled off of Twitter. Their posts got shadow banned or something like that. Like,
yeah.
how we do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you own this conglomerate. You know what I mean? You own Twitter, but you can just start muting people now. Like that's an issue.
But
And there's such a double standard now. Like even Biden recently said that there was no vaccine until he came into office.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is like, bro, like where have you been the last 365 days? You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a straight up lie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and nobody calls him out on it. Like, what's up with the media? Like, I thought y'all was fact checking. Like,
don't blame that man.
I post.
Help it. Mentally, that man ain't got it no more. He ain't got it.
Dementia.
Excuse me, President Biden. Excuse me.
It's true. We know what's crazy though. Like you right about that. He did expose that, but there's so many people that won't even agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll still keep watching CNN and say Fox is fake or whatever the case. Go back and like they really stuck on that, yo. Like, yo, CNN is that's their Bible, yo.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I guess that goes right back to the beginning topic of personal convictions. Like people draw authority out of what's going to best represent their morality. You know what I mean? So because they best represent my morality, I automatically got to be all hands in. I got to be all in for that platform when that's just not even biblical. Like that don't even make sense. That's not Christian.
My question would be to those though who who canceled Gina, right? Like everybody who had an issue with what she said, I think it was egregious. I don't think she should have said what she said, right? But at the same time, we got Disney out here who there's no such thing as a bar with Disney as far as morality goes. You know what I mean? Like the messaging that they have in their movies towards kids. The fact, well, let me say allegedly, you know, even with the new movie Milan that they put out, supposedly they were filming right by a camp. I want to say where they held Muslims at, and this is over in China. So I think if you can film your movie next to a concentration camp, allegedly, if this is true, then how can you hold a statement like this is actual people being killed, tortured? You know what I mean? And you're not good with that. But this woman, she had a statement. I mean, while it was crude, I don't think she should have said it. At the same time, it's not an action. You know what I mean? What you're doing is an action. So I wonder if people will cancel Disney. You know what I mean?
Here go do right here. MAGA kids go screaming hats first into the wood chipper. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, you know?
Wow.
But he can keep his job, you know? I mean, I think it's okay to say.
Man, he worked with Disney, right? Or something.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jack Morrissey.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is his IMDb. So he worked on Beauty and the Beast, Twilight, Breaking Dawn. You know what I mean?
My man got a
All
resume.
these joints.
Right.
Yeah, he's in there.
So it's cool to say, you know, to you know, give her a slap on the wrist, you know, whatever, suspend her for a couple episodes, whatever the case. But to do what they did, like, yo, you'll never work here again.
And then it causes the question of did this have anything to do with the fact that she's a minority? She's a Latina. She's a woman.
She's
right?
a woman.
Like so many. She's a woman, and she's not white. So now that calls the question that like you have to ask those questions now. Did it have anything to do with that? You kind of got to do a process of elimination, because when you do a comparison to like this dude, like that's a crazy graphic picture. I didn't necessarily disagree with what she stated in that particular post that you put up, but what seemed to be the nail in the coffin was the consecutive posts, and then what she said and other things was kind of like, whoa, hold up, you went a little too far.
she said Epstein didn't kill himself. She also talked about election fraud.
Disagrees with that.
People say that. It was wasn't there oh man, wasn't there an autopsy that agreed with that?
But I think this was the main tweet was this one though. It was because they were calling it anti-Semitism. That's basically why they they were saying that these comments were anti-Semitism,
which is insane because it really wasn't caption wise. Like,
what did you get? What did you give? What did you guys get from that tweet? Because I felt like it was a reach for her. Conservatives, is it the same? Is it really the same? I don't agree with that. But what did you guys get?
Jimmy kind of touched on it, right? He said, didn't it get to a point where people were really hating Trump support?
Yeah, people don't tolerate like it's like they had like a scarlet letter on them. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Trump supporter, then you're already a racist, you know. And all the Trump supporters I know are people of color. You know what I mean? Like, which is crazy. Like, I don't know no white Trump supporters. Like, I haven't met one yet. I'm sure they're out there, you know what I mean? But I live in California, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so it's crazy to me that people would say that, or that people would assume how my political affiliation based on the color of my skin. Like I was up in the Bay and I was wearing a grow the heck up hat, and this lady was like, she's like, oh, I like that hat. She's like, yeah, somebody in the White House needs to grow the heck up, you know? And she was just like, and I was like, lady, like, you don't even know where I stand. Like, how could you just assume so much based off of the color of my skin? You know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't like dude. I probably the one dude who criticized them the most on this podcast. And it was just weird to me, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, the media has done it, like where they painted them to be racist. Like, you know, they said that same thing about the Proud Boys, you know what I'm saying? Even though like the leader was you know, Cuban, you know, it's just and so it begins to disenfranchise all of these people based on how they vote, based on and if you look at why they vote the way that they vote, if you boil it down, a lot of these dudes are in our comments because like they criticize Lecrae because they're anti-abortion. You know what I'm saying? That's why they voted for him. You know what I'm saying? Because they believe that Trump was gonna get rid of abortion. They believe in gun rights. You know what I mean? Which is very American. So it's just weird to me, like how the left, the media, liberals, whatever you want to label them, would label these people as like as Nazis, and then get mad when people are like, yo, you trying to like you trying to paint us in a certain light. It's just wild to me, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because then it becomes so divisive. It's like and even like yesterday a MAGA posted us. He posted one of our videos because Ruslan was talking about a diss song he was mentioned in, and dude asked me like, what do I endorse Democrats? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, like I don't endorse tyrants. You know what I'm saying? And when I said that, I meant both sides. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean one side. You know what I mean? Like I meant both sides because I'm very pro freedom. Yeah. But it's just weird that we're in such a divisive space right now. Even now, like just because of politics, And I agree with her. Like I think that it is that way. Where like people who are pro 2A Second Amendment, like they're demonized. People who question the CDC, you know what I'm saying, and Fauci or anything like that are demonized just for questioning, the data that they're putting out when, and that they've said that they've made mistakes and they've been wrong. You know what I mean? Like people are demonized for that. It's a wild time, and so for her to get kicked off a show because of that, like, come on, man. There's far more worse people out there in Hollywood right now that we know of. You know what I mean? Like people who have raped women, abused women, abused men. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And you worried about this tweet, about this Instagram story? Like,
yeah, I think she was just trying to make a comparison. I didn't fully agree with her comparison, but I can get it. That's her way of seeing it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when Kanye was saying, we the new slaves. You know what I'm saying? Talking about music and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Which blip was taken out of context because people no anyone that I've heard him critique him for what he said in that particular sentence did not watch the long form of when he said that.
They never
Right.
He was comparing like what their experience was in the music industry, right? Kind of what they're going through, and I was just like, oh yeah, I mean, we can consider it that way, a modern day slavery, but there's no comparison, in my opinion.
Right.
That's just where I was just kind of like, I'm not really feeling that much.
But even with
you not feeling him, like you wasn't like, yo, let's cancel Kanye. You know what I mean? He don't deserve to be on Spotify.
I went and bought more Yeezys. You know what I'm saying?
Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like it's just weird that people just want to silence everyone.
But even with the Harriet Tubman statement, I mean, it made sense in long form if you process everything that he was saying. He was talking about, when Harriet Tubman didn't necessarily just free the slaves. What ended up happening was because he was talking about the full context of freedom. They didn't have full liberties as a human being, period.
Right.
All they became was indentured servants.
Right.
That's really what he was talking about contextually, right? I'm not co-signing anything that he's like any in particular, but
these comments I'm talking about.
These
comments I'm talking about was before that, because that was during right when he was campaigning for the election.
He said, that was on a camp. That was on the road.
But I'm saying that the slave stuff that was way prior. I think this was about 6 years ago, probably. Where he was bringing up the whole slave. So that's where I say
like in the music industry.
I'm not talking about the Harriet.
About that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He was talking about that, and then
no, but the more recent stuff was even crazier and even more bold to say comparison wise. Like I liken that statement because he was like Harriet Tubman ain't free the slaves. All she did was what was it? What did he say? Now I gotta pop it out. I don't want to misquote it, but he basically was saying like Harriet Tubman ain't free the slaves, and this amendment didn't free the slaves. All they became was different kind of slaves, right? We're still picking cotton to this day. And then he was trying to do really a comparison similar to what this sister is Latina, right? Forgot her real name because I only think of her
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
But I mean, I see it that way, and going to the heart of the issue, right? That's not Christian, right? What's not Christian? The fact that we don't love each other enough, love our neighbors enough to be able to look at different sides and disagree peacefully.
Right.
Disagree peacefully and then have conversations. Like something that I've been stuck on for the longest. I saw this interview, I want to say middle of quarantine, like maybe like mid 2020. The Truth did an interview with another brother. I think he hosts a podcast or something like that. And he was talking about how Christians and Muslims, we actually are both speaking peace, right? We both are like, fist up. We want peace, but we don't mean the same thing. And I think that's the issue that arises, is that we don't mean the same thing. We're not fighting for the same thing. We're not doing it in the same way. And we are preaching more than we're conversing. We're preaching and hitting home with these viewpoints and speaking at people instead of speaking with people and really getting common understanding. Like I've had the most healthiest conversations and most fruitful dialogues with people that I disagree with in the past 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
5-10 years, like with people that I disagree with and are able to disagree with me, but know that I love them nonetheless. I love my neighbor nonetheless, right? That wasn't just love your Christian brothers and sisters, it's love your neighbor, whoever that is, whether it's a Samaritan, whether it's an atheist, whether it's the Pharisee, whether it's the Sadducee, whether it's the person that's literally throwing a stone at you, it's loving that person. And when we so polar with how we're so binary with how we say it's either right or wrong, it's either correct or incorrect, it's either plausible or not plausible, you know what I mean? There's the quote.
That's the quote. I was about to pull it up. Yeah.
Never
says Harriet Tubman, for y'all that are listening, Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
And then Shorty said, girl, we leaving right now.